Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday. And I have my Ricars with me as promised. I said that I would be doing another video soon, and I just want to open this a little bit, let some light in. Um, that's much better. So, I did have a nice video. These vacuums were all wrapped up. I was getting ready to put them away, and I had some oatmeal and everything on the floor. You can see where I did my bare floor test over here, and I can just tell you right now they both didn't do all that great. Um, but it just kept saying upload pending, upload pending. So I sat for like 10 minutes. I tried uploading it for like 4 or 5 times. It won't stop pending. I don't know what happened. I'm assuming must be because I had a 20-minute video. Maybe I'm not allowed to do long videos anymore. I've only posted a few when I found out that I actually could post a longer video, but whatever. So, this is going to be kind of short and sweet. I was a little bit more elaborate in my last one. Guess I'm not going to be able to do that. So, I'm going to try and keep this under 15 minutes. Both of these Ricars are pretty much ORC competitors. This copper one over here was made, well, actually, it was sold in 2009 in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't live anywhere near Kentucky, so I do have family that lives in Tennessee. I maybe have driven through Kentucky, but I don't live there. The woman that owned this before me moved to my state, and she sold it. So, and I'm the new owner. Now, there's some big differences between these two machines, though they both pretty much clean the same. But I'll tell you the reason why. I'm just going to start out and say that I like the yellow one a lot better. Not just because it's newer, but sometimes new designs don't do well. Sometimes they aren't the best in my eyes, but in this case it is. So first I'll start on the front of the machine. You can see on this one, it has like a boxy part where the front end of the vacuum is. They smoothed that out with the new model. They are probably still both the same cleaning path, I would say. Yeah, they're both the same cleaning path. So the older Riccar style is a little bit skinnier in the back than the newer one. You'll also notice, since we're just focusing on this vacuum, or at the bottoms, the newer Riccar, not only do you have a handle release up here, the old model does not. You actually have to put your foot on it and recline it backwards. There are these two clips back here, I assume, that hold the hood onto the machine. This one doesn't have that. The wheels are also taller on the newer machine than the older machine. So that's something that they kind of changed up too. And since we're looking at the fronts, the bumper on the newer one comes up higher than on the older style. This one also has a lifetime belt with a jam protector hull sensor. The new model, this specific one, because in the time that this was sold, this was the highest end model that you could buy. This one's kind of the second, but there is the Riccar Premium, Supralite, and the Sand Trap. And then there's, then there's this one. But the Sand Trap and the Premium, from what I've been told, are both the same machine, just a different color, and the one's called the Sand Trap and one's called the Premium. But they both have the lifetime belt. I think that's really the main thing. There might be a warranty difference. Sometimes they'll do that with a premium model. I know that the Miele Home Care is pretty much the same thing as the Brilliant, though it doesn't have the LED parking lights, and you get a longer warranty with the Home Care model. And you might get some different tools. The next part, I can just move up from the vacuum. Well, they both have squeegees for the floor. I'll move up a little bit higher and just kind of go all the way to the top. The rear of the machine is changed a little bit. The cord hook is mounted on the bottom for the newer machine, which I prefer and a lot of other people prefer as well. The older style, it's mounted on the upper part. So it's not as easy to just take off a little bit of cord without the whole thing falling off. You can do that with the lower mounted cord hook. The next part would be the portion where the neck, I guess you could say, and the support tubing is a different design. It's a lot wider. I don't know exactly how it gets put together or anything, but this one looks like it just has tabs. There might be some screws on it, but it's not as substantial as the newer model, which I think that would help this one last a little longer than this one. Now, with Oryx, any of these lightweight uprights, I recommend being gentle with them. Don't try and whip them around the carpet, because over time they kind of develop this rockiness. This one's not as bad, but I think that might just be how any of these are going to be, new or used. But over time, you don't want to like screw with the fan housing and the supports for this, because I mean, it's just this skinny neck that supports a heavy bag of dirt and the handle and some wiring. This one's a little bit more sturdy, a little more substantial. So they do still sell this style with the cloth bag. I don't know about the rear support. They may still do have a lot of these pieces left over, so they're just trying to clean them out of those parts. But I would imagine they still have to support the older style anyway if something happened to them or they broke. But I would try and get into this style with the wider rear that's going to support it a little bit better, especially because this is a little heavier. This one has, we'll just move on to the next part, a hard outside bag. It's like a plastic reinforced plastic shell. It has this nice hard bumper here in the front, kind of like suitcase material. As the closest thing I can think of is a hard-sided suitcase, not a plastic one that's totally hard-sided, one that's still cloth, whereas this one's just a cloth bag. It's got a quilted pattern on it. It does have some reinforced seams to keep it, you know, kind of, what would I say, shaped properly. Though on most Oryx now, if they do have a cloth bag, they have this plastic membrane on the inside that keeps this upper part shaped, whereas this one does not. So there is a little bit of something back here, but in the front, not really. I would say the Oryx with their cloth bags seem to hold shape a little bit better. This also has two zippers on it, and it can zip all the way to the very bottom. This one has one zipper, and it only opens halfway down. So it's going to be easier to change the bags inside this one than it is this one. And not only because of the zippers and the way that they open and close, but on the inside of this Riccar, there is a little bit of a plastic membrane here, but it doesn't go all the way to the sides. It only just does this little section in here. The Oryx one's bigger. This has a cardboard tab and a tab that holds the cardboard, and it's a cardboard collar. So the way that this works is the two tabs on the bottom of the collar, you set this into, like, I'll just show you, screw it. So you push this back, this comes undone. So what you do is, you can see there is dirt. The bottom part sits in these two tabs down here, and then you just push it up, and it's hard to do with one hand. I'm sure we've all said that, or I hear it in most videos with vacuums and bags or anything that's hard to do one-handed. So there, I have it on. So that's the way that goes on there. I believe these are for like a twist-on style. Maybe that's their commercial version of how they do the bag replacements on the more commercial style. And these are genuine Riccar cloth HEPA bags. There's probably almost no dirt in it because the bag's only a couple days old. Alright, now on this one, we'll zip it all the way down. You don't really have to fight it either, whereas this one, the zipper kind of goes all over the place. So this one falls all the way down. I have Maytag bags in this. There is quite a bit of fluff inside this one. And this one has a plastic docking station, much easier to do. You can see it is pretty dirty. That's a lot of dirt that's already on that. So the way that this works is this green piece stays on all the time, but this green piece, it's kind of like a sandwich or a slot. This slides into this area right here on both sides, and this is going to be gross, but there, cleaned it off a little. This will just slide up, and one-handed, look at that. So much easier to do. And I usually zip both of these up, and you can see I didn't have to fight that one. So it's a lot easier to do, better design. And then we'll move up to the handles. Handles are much different, though it doesn't look like it. The older model is a little bit taller than the new model. Just a hair. Maybe not. Maybe the newer one's a little taller than the old model. So, also, when I was talking about that luggage, the reason why it led me to believe or to say that is because this is kind of serves as a protection when you're vacuuming underneath low furniture, especially if you're vacuuming underneath a bed that has the metal supports. You don't want to rip the bag material because that would be expensive to fix. This can easily be ripped. Which is it going to affect its performance? No, because it is a direct air machine, but you don't want to screw with that. So then these new handles, I think that the metal part of this handle is more sturdy than this one. They changed the power switch a little bit. It's mounted a little lower. It's not as easily accessed as this one is. This one's right at your thumb. This one's a little lower, but still not a big deal. This one's a lot more comfortable to hold on to. It feels a little bit more secure. It feels better made than this one that's kind of like hollow plastic. So overall, though, they both do a really good job. This one's a little bit more slender in its style, but it's also a little heavier because it has that reinforced bag. So I'm going to run both of these just a little bit. Hopefully I don't go over my time. And oh my goodness. There. So I'll start with the copper, the RLS5 or RSL5. For the R10D. Alright, so this one's a lot easier to push. It pulls itself across the carpet a lot more. Of course, the other model would too, but I think it needs a new brush or new brush strips. But you can see they both do an excellent job grooming the carpet. And this, it's very hard to see on the camera, but when this carpet's groomed well, it really opens up all the fibers. They all look spread apart. They just look a lot better. So this one's a lot easier to push. That one is a little bit harder. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is, even though this is the highest end model for its time, and this one's the second, this one has a 35-foot cord, and that one says it's 30, but it seems kind of short to me because I don't seem to be able to get very far with it. Otherwise, so that's kind of the reason why I prefer the new model, and though the old model is really good too, but I think that the new model performs really well. And I like that they updated a lot of things to really make it seem worth its price. And they didn't really change the prices on these at all. They're still asking the same. So I'll be doing sort of a part 2 later on for some other comments that I wanted to add. But please like, comment, and subscribe.